John Razimus here. This is my ghost investigation equipment. $2,000 worth. Maybe add a couple $100. I do use it, but only on investigations I really plan on, and I don't turn it on in my house anymore. If there's one takeaway I would say concerning ghost investigation equipment, it's not for the faint of heart, and more specifically, the one takeaway I would greatly add a huge warning: don't turn this stuff on in your house unless you are conducting an investigation based on some horrific stuff going on in your house and you need some type of organization to verify that you're not making it up. But short of that, don't turn this stuff on in your house. Those who watch this channel know that I did turn on this device, a REM pod. This camera in particular, I have noticed knocks and touches on the mic so close that I know it's something touching the mic. It's not a defective mic, it's a brand new camera. And I know what the touching of a mic sounds like. For example, let me give you an example of touching of the mic. I'm going to be touching the mic real quick. Whoa! We have activity. We have a legitimate spirit legitimately turning on this device here. So this device actually works. This device actually works. We got it to work. It worked. And for those that watched the full episode of Mysterialis Episode 1, it was over an hour long. I labeled it a documentary because it just kept going. It's a very extensive investigation / experiment in the corner of my room, based on my corners of rooms theory, which I think I definitely confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt. Scientists can feel free to conduct it on their own, but I do not recommend it to be in your own house, in your own room, because as I said at the end of that video, and I repeated it on Mysterialis Episode 2, I thought it'd be fun and games to buy ghost hunting equipment and hunt for ghosts. It's not fun and games. It's very scary. It brings in negative vibes. It brings in negative spirits. That's what I noticed. 24 hours after the first experiment, I felt extreme negative vibes. That's the best way I can describe it to people that don't have the ability. I felt extreme negative vibes coming out of nowhere. 24 hours after the experiment, almost on the dot. We're talking 12 a.m. exactly 24 hours after the first experiment. A negative entity walked through me, or if you don't believe in that, extreme negative vibes went through my whole body. That's what it felt like. I know what it was. I've had spirits set off these 2 millimeters multiple times, but on the street, far away from your home, is a little bit different from in your house. And so I haven't had too many consequences, I believe, investigating the streets. It's more specifically in your house. 24 hours after I used this, a horrendous sensation of a negative spirit walked through me. It was the consequences for using this in my room. So there are actual spiritual consequences to using ghost investigation equipment. It's always going to be a gray area, trust me, no matter what investigation equipment you use, no matter when you use it, no matter how you use it, no matter where you use it, it's always going to be a gray area. Anyone that says they're saving souls and sending spirits into the white light, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. They're ignorant of the entire process from A to Z. You cannot, in any way, shape, or form, send spirits into the light. What this type of equipment attracts is most likely mischievous, devious, deceptive, negative type of spirits will really want to play with this stuff. I don't use Ouija boards. I don't use divining rods. The reason I don't use these type of things is because, A, they're not scientific. I focus on the scientific. Static electricity. These are the two professional ones I have acquired. I have a couple others, but these are the two better ones. They focus on measuring static fields, static electricity. But this REM pod, you put your hand close to it, you're breaking the static field, it goes off. The REM pod feature is on the higher end versions of the Melmeter. And we have the regular standard EMF meter, but when you have the secondary REM pod feature, you're having a double confirmation of a spirit. I'm not going to turn any of this stuff on, I'm just talking about it. So what I've noticed after using the Melmeter over and over and over is most definitely, intelligently, the static field is broken on the antenna. So I'm going to be constructing and designing and creating my very own static field detector to detect anything breaking the static field radiating from the antenna. I don't think there are any that focus scientifically on the volt levels. This Melmeter is amazing. It's my favorite ghost investigation piece of equipment. But it doesn't say how many volts. It simply shows the lights. I would like to show scientifically how many volts are being brought into the equation. I have a lot of stuff here that I'm still working on. This camera shoe, and I thought these were cheap infrared lights, but they're very strong, very powerful, and I saw these used on the last couple professional ghost investigation shows. It tells me that I ordered these many months ago, and yet the professional shows are starting to use them as well. I thought it was pretty interesting. Paranalogies makes this periscope, and they make this smaller version, all static fields being broken. This is the very device, this is the very device, and this one right here that I used at the 1830s house. It would be greatly appreciated if you could set off those devices, and then I'll be on my way. I'm going to Los Angeles. I'm going to be heading on over to Los Angeles. Awesome. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated for setting off the device. Very thankful. Los Angeles is where I'm going. Wow, you got the left one? Can you get the right one? You got the left one in green? I will be releasing the 1830s house, the haunted house, where a spirit legitimately set these off. I will be releasing that documentary this year. It's a lot of work. I'm working my hardest. It's not going to be sensational. It's true. I don't focus on sensational things that you'll see in a headline of a tabloid. I focus on the truth. I wouldn't have invested over $2,000 of my money, and I haven't paid all these off. I've paid most of them off, but I have not paid all of them off yet. So I did take out loans to pay off some of these things. I did get a second camera, but the quality's so low that I pretty much rely on this Sony 4K. I really recommend it for night vision investigations. But the spirit at the 1830s house, it consistently, repeatedly appeared. When I got there by myself with a good amount of this equipment, the first time was around 3:50 a.m. It was there. But it did take a good 15 minutes to reveal itself. The second time was probably around 1 a.m. It was there. Probably 5, 10, 15 minutes it took for it to reveal itself. The third time, I showed up like at 10 p.m., the earliest I'd ever been there at night. And I was wondering if maybe this thing prefers 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m., but I was there at 10 p.m. and it showed up immediately. We're talking within 5 minutes of filming, it showed up. It set off this. It set off this, and then it set off this. And I got a little overzealous, and then I set up these two. And it didn't want to set these two off. It had already done its thing with these, and it wanted me on my way, I believe, because I almost told it, if you set these off, specifically these three that were set up, I'll take off. If you set these off, I'll take off. It consistently set off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All 12 LEDs in these static detecting field devices. All 12 LEDs, it consistently set off all 12 of them. And then I saw light from the distance of, I believe, a truck or a tractor. He was moving particularly slow, but he was definitely a human vehicle. It could have been a guy with a big flashlight. I never found out because I grabbed my stuff and I took off. Whew. I've told this story many times, but I'm glad I took off, because when you have a secluded location with a legitimate ghost and no one else knows about it, it's an exclusive location, which is why I've never revealed it. My documentary, I might have to bleep out the location. People are probably going to figure out the location. But I'll tell you this, the locals, and I lived in the area where this 1830s house is. I grew up there. I lived there for 20 years, and I never heard about it until, I believe, 2012 was the first time I was told about it. So this would have been after my poltergeist incident, those familiar with my story of 2011. This 1830s house, I'm not going to reveal its location, but it's not considerably too far away from the location of my 2011 poltergeist haunted room incident. It's not too far away. I've been researching, and I got to finish this documentary. You will see it coming soon. I just wanted to show this over $2,000 worth of ghost investigation equipment to show you I'm not a fake sensational YouTuber that puts some fake stuff in the title. And to be honest, the one message I want to leave with you is, after I turned this on and the spirit set it off, 24 hours later the spirit walked through me. Now people are going to say I made that story up. People are going to say that's fake. You just made that up, man. That's fake. You're just trying to get clicks and likes and hits. Nope. Last week I was surfing YouTube and I came across a yogi in India who's revered. He's a great leader of spiritual teachings. He's a mystic. And a mystic can go either way. There could be a negative mystic. There can be a positive mystic. I'd say based on this alone, I don't have much exposure to this yogi, but based on the first thing I ever heard him say, it directly, exactly related to me. You've heard that before. Sure, related to you, whatever. It was exactly in reference to a broad spectrum of the universe, a secret occult piece of knowledge that he was sharing with his audience. I guarantee 99% of them didn't understand it. But it directly relates to when I turned this on in my room during Corners of Rooms Mysterialis Episode 1. Turned it on, I waited, I started to tell ghost stories. I talked about how I did sense a negative entity at the Winchester Mystery House lobby as I was entering the house, the tour you can go on. And the ghost was interested, the spirit was interested, and it set the device off. 24 hours later, I felt the spirit walk through me. It was, I would say, the second most evil spirit I've ever felt walk through me in my life. Very horrendous sensation, horrendous feeling. I can sense spirits when they walk through me, making me an ideal ghost investigator. I don't need this equipment. I can feel it when a ghost walks through me. I can literally feel. And I use the word walk. Not too many people use the word walk. Ghosts, spirits, they walk on two ghost spirit feet. They have ghost spirit legs. They have a ghost spirit body. And when they walk through people, most people don't notice, but I noticed. This leader, his name is spelled Sadhguru. Sadhguru, if I mispronounced, I apologize. But Sadhguru, he said that he was disbelieving of ghosts. He wanted to see proof of ghosts. He wanted to see evidence of ghosts, of spirits. He wanted to see it. And he was desperate. So he sought it out for many years, proof of ghosts. He said he heard from someone. There's this guy who is a ghostbuster. He captures ghosts in bottles. He said he didn't believe it, but he was intrigued. So he went to the guy. The guy had various bottles. He said, this bottle has a female spirit. This bottle has a male spirit. He said he looked at it and it was just an empty bottle with a cork on top. But even though he didn't believe, he wanted to steal one of the bottles and open it up so he can have evidence of a spirit coming out. He said he was never able to steal a bottle. He changes the story into someone showing him a ritual, a rice flour design, which is very much like Haitian Vodun, the designs in the rice flour or the cornmeal in Haiti. But he said he was rice flour, a design. He said there were 4 eggs, one in each corner. I can't remember if they were cracked or not. I think there were fireworks in the middle. The guy said, watch this. And the fireworks went off by themselves. They were lit by themselves by a spirit. He said he was skeptical, but he couldn't explain it. But he was mesmerized. He was intrigued. He was like, oh, that's interesting. He said he went home and he was looking in his backyard and he saw a tree with fruit on it. And here's actually a really good example of the fruit right here. He said he looked at the one piece of fruit and he went like this, and the fruit fell down from the tree. He said he did it many more times. Every single time a good 10 fruit fell from the tree, proving to himself anyway that it was not a coincidence. He said he brought some of his friends to watch. He said, look at this, idiots. And he did it for a crowd of a few people. And they were amazed. And it was a spirit pulling the fruit from the tree. Probably the same spirit from the ritual of the rice flour that set off the fireworks. That spirit followed him home and proceeded to give him supernatural powers, seemingly, where he would point at a piece of fruit and he would fall from the tree. Sadhguru, he said, 3 days after he conducted this magical tree, fruit falling from the tree ritual for his friends to watch in amusement, he said 3 days after it happened, he felt the most revolting feeling go through his body. It was a negative spirit, very similar to the negative spirit that walked through my body when I used this device in my room. While I didn't showcase poltergeist fruit falling from a tree miraculously on command, I did use this device to be shown to my YouTube subscribers, you. And apparently in the universe, an occult secret is this: if you do such a ritual or such a show concerning spirits, using spirits to your benefit, even if it's just to prove spirits exist, even if it's just to prove ghost investigation equipment works, there are consequences. Sadhguru said he never felt anything so revolting in his life because he doesn't deal with the occult. He doesn't go into those dark subjects. So it's the first time he ever felt it. I can tell you I felt it multiple times, even though I don't practice the occult. But there's definitely a gray area and a negative area when it comes to ghost investigation equipment. So be warned. It's not a joke. My story of when I said a negative thing went through my body after I used this, 24 hours after I used this, it wasn't a story I made up. Sadhguru confirms that story all the way in India to millions of people. He tells the wise cautionary tale of how he came in contact with the spirit would perform tasks for him, something as menial as dropping fruit from a tree on command.
That there was a man in Mysore city. He was known to be some kind of a ghost buster or tantric or whatever he is. So somebody told me, I was always looking for these kind of things. So somebody told me, this guy has trapped ghosts in bottles and kept it in his whatever, it's a shrine or a workshop or whatever you want to call it. So I want to go, and that guy wouldn't allow us initially, but I was persistent, and then he took me inside and he showed me lots of bottles. He said, in this there is this kind of a ghost, this is a woman, this is a man. I looked, I could not see a man or a woman, I all saw transparent bottles with corks. So I was just befriending him, thinking, I will steal one bottle because I really wanted to see a ghost. Because I had heard so many things. So many things means unbelievable kind of stories. Well, it only made me more and more curious. It did not raise my hair nor scare me, but I became more and more curious. So I went to this guy, and when they said specifically it's in the bottle, I wanted to steal a bottle. But he was very protective about his bottles So I didn't see anything coming out, but he showed me one thing. So he made an elaborate design with rice flour. In the 5 corners of this, he kept one egg. He did all kinds of things and poof, he clapped his hand, pop! All the 5 eggs burst right in front of my eyes. So, I thought, something. I don't know whether it's a ghost or it's a thing, whatever, but definitely he did not reach out to these 5, he was standing away and all the 5 eggs burst. Then this was working on me, and I was walking in my house backyard, looking here and there. Then I saw guavas were hanging in the tree, the guava fruit. I looked at the fruit fell. I thought, what? I did it again and again, the fruit fell. Then I brought my friends and just, you idiots, watch this. Talk, fruit fell. They said, what? Not once, 5, 10 times I did so that it's not an accident. But then, in about 3 days' time after I did this, a revulsion, I've never experienced it ever in my life because I've never stepped into those areas. A kind of revulsion went through my entire body that I knew that I had done something very fundamentally wrong. Never again. I said, you want the guavas? Go up and get it. You want anything in your life, go and get it. These kind of things we will never again do. So, I realized something is fundamentally wrong, use your energies like that. So what is a ghost? All of you are ghosts with a body. Those who are walking and sitting, everybody, you are ghosts with a body.
I want to leave that warning with you. I thank you for watching. Stay tuned, more episodes coming soon. I will showcase my over $2,000 of occult books in a future episode. Try to have a lesson attached to it. I don't just have them on the shelf for decoration. I do study and read through them, and I have found some amazing insights, and I do plan on sharing those insights with you in the future. Until next time, I thank you for watching. This has been John Razimus. Be seeing you.